Hey, welcome. I'm Lorelai of Namasturm Yoga. This next yoga practice is going to focus on our core. So we're actually going to start on the floor today. So go ahead and lower yourself down to your mat. And if you want to take a moment to focus your practice, transition to it, maybe just tuck your shoulders underneath your upper back, keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor, and this can be a little bit restorative for the low back here. So I will say a core focused practice is actually designed to help in some ways your low back. So sometimes I'll have people request like a low back practice, and they're always probably not happy when I say that means core. Because if we can build our core, then the low back doesn't have to work so much in our day-to-day life. Core also is really helpful for things like balance, and just everything. Everything we use our core, right? So from here, we're going to release our low back and just take a moment to rest and maybe focus on, how you're feeling, where you're at today. Notice your breath. And then let's go ahead and bring the knees into the chest. As you do this, and go ahead and wrap your hands around your shins, you should feel that low back presses down really actively, just because we've got the weight of the knees over it and we're kind of curving, like we're tucking our tail obviously to get to this curve. So that low back is going to actively press down. Go ahead and lift your shoulders and curl into a little ball. Now the challenge is we're going to take the legs straight up and lower our shoulders to the floor, reach the arms up overhead, but we want to keep the low back down. How do we do that? We push the navel down actually. So this is our transverse abdominis muscles are the ones that can actually help to push the front of the body towards the back of the body, and that's what's going to help keep our low back down. We're just going to go back and forth a couple of times. Follow the breath. So exhale, curl on into your little ball. Feel the low back on the ground, and then try to keep that connection as you inhale. Reach the legs up and the arms overhead. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, reach the legs up and arms out. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, reach the legs up, arms out. And then one more time, we're going to exhale, curl in, and then we're going to roll from shoulders to hips. Rolling through the spine. See if you can keep feeling your core here to keep that spine rounded, letting the low back hit the ground so we don't thump from our rib cage to our hips. And then the last one, we're going to try to roll up and find a boat pose, navasana, heart up and forward, shins extended out, and breathe. And then from here, take the feet to the floor, take the hands behind the hips, press the feet down, shoulder blades plug in. Let's just do a little reverse table. You can walk your hands back if you need to. Try to keep the knees over the hips and the hips as high as the knees, chin in, or drop the head back if that feels better. And then take the hips back to the floor. Let's just come to a standing forward fold. So use your hands to help you rock to your feet and just hang the upper body here. So this is going to be more of a complete yoga practice. We're not just going to do core, but that will be our focus. And even in poses where it may not be the main thing that we think about as being an attribute of the pose, we're going to still try to focus on what the core is doing. Let's take the hands to the floor and step to hands and knees. We're just going to come and do a few cat-cow stretches just to really warm up the spine. Shoulders over hips. No, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Inhale to cow pose. And you can start to include the ujjayi breath here. Exhale, tuck the tail, head comes down. Inhale, cow. Shoulder blades pull together. Exhale to cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale to cat pose. And then leveling out. We're going to tuck the right toes under, slide the ball of the foot to the back of the mat, reach through the heel. So it almost feels like you're just stretching the calf here. But then move forward so your heel is over your toes. Pull the navel in, so moving that into the body. Again, it's the same action we were doing on the floor, it's just the other way around. so that we're almost like lifting the low ribs here. Take your left arm out and slowly float that right leg off the floor. Heel pushes back, toes are flexed down. And then we're just gonna curl in, so almost like you were doing a cat pose. Curl in, but elbow, nose, and knee. Pull everything in. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, tuck in. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, tuck in, and then one more time. Inhale, extend out, and then if you can, take things at a diagonal. So we're not taking the arm all the way to the side, but try to get the leg and the arm to connect up. Stabilize through the center of the body. Come back, hand and knee to the floor. Other side, so tuck your left toes under, and just start by maybe like almost like a calf stretch. Push through the heel, reach the head forward, but start to secure this core area here. The heel can come over the toe, lift the toes just a little off the floor. We don't want to back bend here, and then extend the arms out. We're stabilizing from the center to extend the limbs, but we're also using the core to help us balance. And then tuck in, elbow, nose, knee, round the spine. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, contract. Inhale to reach. Exhale, tuck in, and then one more time. Inhale, reach it all out. Extend through the heel, extend through the hand, and then if you can, try to imagine like arms on a clock, and you're trying to keep them opposite each other. So the right arm goes out, the left leg goes out. Everything radiating from the center, so strong core. And then hands and knees back to the floor. Walk the hands a little further forward. We're gonna go to downward facing dog. Tuck toes, lift knees and hips. First down dog, give yourself a chance to, bend one knee, let the opposite leg straighten, switch to the other side, so on and so forth, as we usually do. But then also start to notice, I feel like down dog is a great position to start to introduce Uddiyana Bandha, which is our abdominal lock, which is also part of what we're doing to engage our core throughout an entire yoga practice. So we're pulling the navel in, and I think here in this down dog, if you imagine like a really skinny greyhound dog, that hollowed out belly shape, we're trying to find that for ourselves a little bit. So we're like hollowing out the belly. The organs actually move up a little bit as we pull in. Engage. And then as we move forward to plank, we want to keep that sense of Uddiyana Bandha, shoulders over wrists, reach through the head, reach through the heels, strong through the core. And then let's lower down. So if you need to take knees down first, go for it. But if you're ready to take a chaturanga, make sure you're stabilizing, right? So we don't want to lose that navel lock. We don't want to come to a back bend or sag the hips. We're going to lower all the way down to the ground. And then we will do just a little bit of preparatory back bending here. Take the hands behind the back, interlace fingers, lift shoulders, draw the blades down the back. Come on up and maybe lift the feet as well. And then lower down. Forehead or ear to the floor. And let's try another one. So we'll take a different variation. This time we're going to take a little bow variation. So bend the knees, reach back with the hands for the feet. Try not to let the knees go too wide. You can keep the thighs on the floor here, but just use those heels pulling away from your hips to pull the shoulders up and back. And then we're going to move to Cobra. So carefully let go of the feet, but try to keep the upper body up. Bend the elbows, bring the hands by the chest, push down to move into Cobra. Neck in line with the spine, so the head's not craned all the way back, but just keep it a little natural. Tuck toes, lift knees and hips, and use your core, your abdominals, to lift the hips up and move the heart back, and take another breath or two in downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, bend the knees to step, walk, or if you want, you can lightly hop forward. Inhale, take a half lift, so nice flat back. Your fingers can be on the floor or at the shins. Exhale, fold down deep, and then root down through the feet, reverse swan dive, come on up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. And let's just take a couple of sun A's here, really just to get our bodies warmed up. But as you're doing this, really try to think about the Uddiyana Bandha, where we're pulling the navel slightly back to engage and stabilize the core really throughout the whole practice. It means you probably can't take like really deep belly expanding breaths. It's a little, but but we probably are okay. Like our body doesn't need like that much air to take us through a sun salutation. So see if you can just focus on keeping this area nice and stable as you transition from pose to pose here. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, long forward fold. Really tuck that navel up into your Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, flatten the back. Use the core to elongate the spine. Exhale, step to plank and lower. Of course, we know we're using the core here. Inhale, cobra, or if you want, you can come to up dog. And then as you transition to down dog, see if you can use the core to lift your hips. Move the heart back and take a couple of breaths in down dog. Root through the hands, lift the hips up, breathe. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. As you exhale, bend the knees to step or lightly hop forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down deep. Inhale, root down to rise up, but strong through the core as you come up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Let's do two more. Inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step to plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just one inhale here. Exhale, step or lightly hop forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding down. Press the feet, reverse swan dive. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. And again, inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. If you want to jump to chaturanga, shoulders and head forward, shoot those feet back. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take one inhale. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive, come on up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. We're gonna go to chair pose. So chair pose, you might not think of as being so much of a core practice, but as we bend the knees towards the toes and sink the hips, we want to think of pulling the navel in and letting the tail drop a little bit so that it's not just about shooting the hips back, in which case kind of the belly can relax here, but we actually want to actively engage a little tuck in the tail and the navel is in so that our weight is over our heels a little bit more. Take the arms up, breathe. Obviously, we feel is working our quads the most. One more inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. And then make your way through a Vinyasa back to down dog. Again, you can jump to chaturanga or step and lower. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's take the right leg into the air. Keep the hip nice and square. So as you do this, the toes are flexed down. Root through the hands, reach through the heel. The idea is the leg and the torso are in the same line with each other. Now we're going to come forward to one-legged plank. So the shoulders move forward over the wrists, but we want to keep that line from the head to the heel. Reach through the heel, strong through the core as that limb gets extended from the navel. Inhale, lift back up, down dog split. Exhale, knee to chest, shoulders forward over the wrist, tuck the knee in tight, reach through the head, reach through the heel. The more you pull that knee up, the more you're working your core. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knee to the right arm. So hover it up by your tricep, a little bit of obliques here as you stabilize. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knee to the left arm. So a little twist here. Inhale, down dog split, and exhale, Step that foot all the way forward between the hands, knee over ankle. Let's come on up for crescent pose, high lunge. Lunge into that front knee, straighten out through that back leg, and similar to what we did in chair pose, think of a little navel in, tail down. So I like to sometimes bend the back knee, try to get the knee under the hip, and then we can get that torso really upright, lunge deeper, strong here, and then see if you can straighten out that back leg without losing what happened in the upper body. Now we're going to lean into a warrior three here. So see if you can just start to lean, literally take the straight leg with you and float up. If you need to bring palms together in front of the heart, go for it, whether it's for space or balance. Reach through the back heel, strong and dynamic through the center of the body, try to level out the hips. And then bend the front knee, reach back long, come back to your high lunge, inhale. Exhale, we're going to take the left hand to the floor inside the right foot. Take the right arm up. Nice easy twist here. Stack the shoulders. We're going to move into a side plank. So rolling to the outer edge of your back foot. Walk that right foot. Now if you need to modify, knee over ankle, but if you can, inner edges of the feet line, lift the hips. This is a balance pose. This is a core focused pose. Tuck your hips in. Don't let them stick back behind you. And see if you can anchor yourself through the center of the body. Lift the gaze, look up. Flex into the feet. And then turn to the floor, right into Vinyasa. And breathe. Let's take the second leg. So we're going to take the leg into the air, and again, the hip is going to stay square. Root through the hands. At this point, ideally the hands, the shoulders, the hips, the heel are all creating one line. May not be perfect, but you want to feel that way, right? Now come forward to one-legged plank. So at this point, the shoulders, the hip, and the heel, we want to still keep those in line with each other, and now the head as well, because the head is reaching forward. Level out, pull the navel in. Lifted foot is flexed. Inhale, back to down dog splits. And then exhale, left knee to chest, shoulders forward over the wrist, and breathe as you tuck that knee up tight. Inhale, lift the leg back up. Exhale, knee to the left arm, stabilize. Make sure you're still breathing here. Inhale, down dog split. And exhale, knee to the right. So a little twist, getting the obliques to do a bit of work here. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, step that foot all the way forward between the hands, knee over ankle. Come on up to crescent lunge. Lunge it deep, and if you want, work your hands and your hips, help yourself out. For me, I like, again, to try to bend that back knee a little, scoop the tail or tuck the tail, get really nice and upright with the torso, strong through the core, and then see if you can keep that as you straighten the back leg and deepen the lunge in the front knee. And then flowing towards warrior three. So see if you can just kind of lean, and as you lean, maybe even think of lining up the leg with the torso before you pick the foot up off the ground. And then if for space, you need to bring palms together in front of the heart, or for balance, you can do that. Attempt to level the hips so that right thigh is facing the floor. Level the head, heel, and hip. Breathe. And then bend the front knee. Reach back long so you can come all the way back to that high lunge. Inhale. Exhale, take the right hand to the ground. We're going to start with an easy twist. Fingers and toes line up, so your shoulder should be right over your wrist here. Turn open. And then when you're ready to transition, see if you can stabilize, transitioning as smoothly as possible. Roll to the outer edge of your back foot, and then walk that left foot back, or just place it. Lift the hips, lift the gaze, tuck the hips into the body so that you're flat. And then turn to the ground, take a vinyasa. And breathe here. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, bend the knees to step or lightly hop the feet forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down deep. Let's come through chair pose, Utkatasana. Weight on the heels. Exhale, back to Uttanasana. We're just going to take another vinyasa here. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Now we're going to take the right leg up and a little quicker here. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, knee to chest, shoulders forward over the wrist. Inhale, down dog split. Exhale, knee to the right arm. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, knee to the left arm, little twist. Inhale, lift. And exhale, step the foot to the front of the mat. Let's take warrior one. Back heel pivots down. Come on up, lunge deep. So similar here, we want to still think about what the core is doing. So this sometimes feels like a big back bend, but we don't want it to happen in the low back. So we slightly need to pull the navel in and drop the tail down as we lunge into the front knee. If you want to take the back bend, it should be happening in the upper back. Take the arms up, palms together, lift the heart, but keep thinking of tucking the tail and engaging through the center. And then here we can open to warrior two, and I'm flipping away from you, I know. Front heel and back arch line up. Drop the left hip, shoulders over hips, front knee over ankle, arms at shoulder height, look over the front fingers. Turn the front palm up, just one breath. Inhale, reverse warrior, and exhale, vinyasa. Hands to the floor. Maybe one-legged chaturanga here. So as that right leg floats up, lower down, one-legged, and then the foot comes back to the floor for cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Second side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to chest, shoulders forward over the wrists. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, knee to the left arm, so just tapping it. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, that knee to the right. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, step that foot to the front of the mat. Back heel pivots down. Coming up for warrior one. Lunge deep, root into the outer edge of the back foot. Navel in, tail down. Engage through that center. And then if you want to bring palms together and look up, go for it. Keep lunging into the front knee. And then we're going to just open to warrior two. So keep your front knee over your ankle. Adjust the back foot. Hips level out, shoulders over hips, lunge deep, and we're turning. So the same thing here, we don't want to let the hips go back and the belly just kind of puff out. We want to still keep the navel in and tail down. Those things are a little bit connected. Turn and look over your front fingers. Turn the front palm up, inhale, reverse warrior, and then again vinyasa. And as that left leg floats back, maybe keep it in the air, one-legged chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, and exhale, breathe in downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, bend the knees and step or lightly hop the feet forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down deep. Let's come through chair again, Utkatasana. And then straighten the legs, come to standing. And we're going to stand on the right foot, pull the left knee into the chest. Just find your balance here. Shoulders over hips. So anytime we're balancing, our core is working. We're going to give it a little bit of an extra job though. We're going to take the arms up and try to extend the legs straight out. And you want to feel like the leg is like growing from your navel. It might not be very high, like it could have been much higher when we were holding on to it. But we're going to try to just keep it extending. Reach the arms up. We're going to flow again to warrior three. So I'm just going to switch my directionality. So the leg is out. And as we start to trace that leg under the body, once it hooks up with the line of the torso, then everything moves simultaneously. Reach through the head, reach through the heel, strong through the center of the body. And then from here, we're gonna come to half moon. Now, if you need a block and you have one handy, you can put your right fingers on the floor, on the block. Otherwise, just take them to the floor. Keep reaching the head away from the heel as you turn open to half moon pose. Elongating, lengthening, and then bend the front knee to step back long. Inhale. Let's come on up. Exhale into warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, and then we're going to straighten the front leg and come to triangle pose. Back of the hand against the inner shin, top arm up, long sides of the body. So this isn't actually a really rounded pose. We want to try to keep the sides really linear. And now we're going to take the top arm overhead, palm faces the floor. And then we're going to take the bottom arm up, palms face each other, strong through the center to keep you stable. One more inhale, and then exhale, twist to the floor, bend the front knee, plant your palms, take a vinyasa. This could be one-legged. Find your downward facing dog and breathe. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or lightly hop the feet forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down deep. Let's come to chair. And then straighten the legs, come to standing. And this time we're going to stand on the left foot. Take the right knee in. And just find your balance here first and foremost. So get a little engagement going here to get that stability. Gaze ahead of you at a single point. And then as you take the arms up, extend through the leg, push through the heel. We don't want to clench from the thigh, but rather we want to feel like that leg just has an extension from the center of the body outward. And then we're going to transition this again to warrior three. So let the leg move under the body. Reach through the heel. If you can keep the arms extended, go for it. If you need to bring palms together, that's okay. And then keeping the lift and the extension as you transition to half moon. So the left fingers come down, the hips and shoulders open, top arm up. Breathe. And then bend the front knee. Reach back long with that right foot. Come to warrior two, so exhale into it. Inhale, reverse warrior, and then straighten the front leg. Coming into triangle, trikonasana pose. So just keeping it simple at first. Sides of the body are long though, so the legs are long. And think about, a triangle, it doesn't have any curves. So yes, our bodies have curves, but we're gonna try to work the linear energy in the sides of our body. And then take the top arm overhead, extending kind of the diagonal from the torso. And then take the bottom arm. We're extending from the underside of the torso through the arm. Stabilize, breathe. And then turn to the floor. Bend the front knee, plant your palms, and let yourself move through a vinyasa to get back to down dog. And breathe here. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or lightly hop the feet forward. Let's come to a seat. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit more directly into some core work here. So obviously we're using it in every part of a yoga practice, but let's go back into boat pose. We did one at the top. Let's take hands behind the thighs, lift the heart, let the shins extend out. And then take the arms out as well to find balance. So here's where we were earlier. Breathing. Let's take the palms together and we're gonna do just a little twist here. So we're gonna twist to the right, kind of taking your left elbow towards your right leg. Try not to let the legs move too much. And then twist to the left. And then back to the right. And over to the left. One more time each side. So back to the right. And over to the left. And then we're gonna try to lean back enough so that we can straighten out the legs and slowly lower the legs to the floor. Let's take a reverse plank. So pull your shoulders underneath you, point the fingers out. On your heels, lift the hips, point the toes to the ground, chin in or head back. Breathe. Come on back to the sit bones, and we're gonna take one more navasana, hands behind the thighs. This is obviously a balance pose as well as like directly working our core. Take the arms out. And we're gonna go low. So we're gonna roll, about 2 vertebrae off of the very base of our tailbone, just a little bit higher, but not to our low back. And we're gonna do a little up, down, up and lower. Really try to work from your core here. Lower, up and lower and up and lower. Let's do one more. Up and then lower, and we're gonna hold low and crisscross ankles. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're gonna come all the way down to the ground, so just let it go. All right, let's go ahead and bend the knees. We got a little more core work to do on our back, so take the hands behind the head. We're just gonna do a little bit of bicycle, but we're gonna do them really slow. So we wanna have the shoulders off the floor the whole time, and the feet come up with the shins about parallel to the floor. We're gonna take the right knee in and the left elbow to the right knee and twist, and then we're gonna go the other way. Right elbow to left knee, extend your right leg up, and then left elbow to right knee, extend your left leg up. Back and forth. Keep the low back down. So that's the other thing we're thinking about. Now it's a little easier here because we are rounding. We're letting the shoulders come up. We want to keep that low back pressing down to really activate the core here. Let's do about 3 more each side. 3, nice and slow and controlled. 2, woo. 1 more. And then let yourself lower, feet to the floor. Let's take a little bridge here because we just worked that core. Sometimes it just feels good to stretch it out. So push the feet down, lift the hips up, pull your shoulders underneath you, interlace the fingers, and breathe. And then slowly get your shoulders out of the way. We're gonna do one more. As you start to lower your hips down, take the palms of your hands to the floor and just let your hips kind of rest on the hands. We're gonna take the legs up. So the reason for the palms, and so find your position, right? The reason for the palms is to try to help you with a little bit of that tuck of the tailbone that we're going for. You wanna keep your low back against the floor for this next little exercise. So that is your goal, your mission. But we're gonna throw an obstacle in the way, and then we're gonna move the legs. So we're just gonna let the right leg slowly, don't use gravity, try to resist gravity, slowly lower it to the floor, and then slowly bring it back up. Don't use momentum, use your core strength. And then slowly lower the left leg down. Heel's not gonna quite touch the floor, but almost, and then slowly bring it back up. So we're gonna do this back and forth a few times. If you feel like this is not challenging enough, you can do both legs. But if you start doing both legs and you find that your low back starts to arch up off the floor, go back to one leg at a time. More important to do it correctly and control it, even if it's not as hard than it is to do it wrong, but the harder version, because that's just gonna tweak your low back. So if you try one and it's just like, maybe not, then go back, one leg at a time. Keep thinking of the navel pushing down towards the floor to press the low back against the ground. And we're gonna do either one more each side, or if you're doing double legs, you're gonna do 2 more. Do the best you can here. Keep that low back down. And then when you're done, bring the knees in, give them a little hug, and one more bridge pose. Feet to the floor, Lift the hips up, roll the shoulders under the upper back, and breathe. And then getting the shoulders out of the way. Let's go ahead, bring the knees back in, and we're gonna roll through our spine again. So if you've ever done any like Pilates, this is kind of like a rolling like a ball kind of situation. This time, instead of rolling back to boat pose, we're gonna try to roll all the way to a standing forward fold. See if you can do that. If you need to use your hands, it's okay. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, Vinyasa. So step to plank and lower chaturanga. You can skip the Vinyasa if you'd rather at this point as well. Let's take the right leg to the air, open the hip and bend the top knee. So a nice variation of down dog splits here. We're gonna start to get into a little stretching. We will still have a little more core though. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Let's take the left knee down. And we're just in a little low lunge here. So maybe we can just simply take a nice low lunge, take the arms up, sink the hips forward toward the front heel. We're gonna deepen it a little. So hands to the floor, walk the right foot out, turn the toes out a little. And as you do that, the knee's also gonna slightly turn out. See if you can get your forearms to the ground. If not, you could stay planted on your palms, or you could even bring a block or a book underneath your forearms just to kind of raise the ground a little, so to speak. Interlace the fingers, elbows under shoulders, and then let your right knee start to drop out wide. As the knee drops, the inner edge of the foot comes up, and then we can add on from here, but every step of the way is optional. If you can, bring your right hand to your right thigh, press it away. As you're pressing away, the right shoulder moves back, the arm elongates, turn towards the ceiling. From here, if you can keep that knee wide, take the top arm open and turn even more towards the ceiling, so a nice twist. And then finally, and this is more challenging, but see if you're able, bend the back knee behind you, reach back with your hand for your foot, and then pull the heel away. Again, we're trying to turn our chest, our torso open. Let that foot go behind you. Now, both forearms back to the floor. As you extend that back leg, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up off the ground, reach through the heel. Strong back leg, we're gonna go to forearm plank. So walk that right foot back, scooch it, wiggle it, however you need to get it there, so that you've got the heels reaching away, the hips and shoulders nice and level. Breathe here. And then we're gonna come to dolphin. So the goal is we wanna lift our hips, but we kind of need to walk our legs underneath us. The head should be able to hang down freely without touching the floor. Root down, lift up. And then we're gonna do a few dolphin push-ups. So we need to maybe walk the feet a little bit further back, so we're kind of in the middle. But the way this goes is that on an inhale, we come forward to forearm plank with like the nose over the knuckles. As you exhale, lift the hips up, pulling it up with the core. Inhale, come forward, level out. So try to work from your core here. Exhale, lift. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lift. One more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lift, and then if you can, from this lifted position, hands underneath you, come to downward facing dog. Breathe, and let's take the left leg up. Open the hip and bend the top knee, point the knee to the sky, heel to the right hip. Look forward, step your left foot forward, right knee down. Nice little low lunge here, extend the back toes, come on up. Sink the hips forward towards the front heel, and you can take those arms up if you like. Enjoy this nice open stretch. Stretch for the legs, opening for the heart. And then hands to the floor, walk the left foot out a little, turn your toes out. Slowly lower your chest down inside of that left knee. And if you can get the forearms down, great, but do what you did on the first side, so even yourself out. Let your left knee start to drop so that the inner edge of the foot kind of comes up as your knee rolls open. I don't know how well you can see my knee from there. Root down. And then adding on. So you could just stay on your right forearm, take your left hand and gently press it against your left thigh to press that knee open, and that's going to move your left shoulder back, open you towards the ceiling. Or you could take the top arm up, let that lean you back even more. That arm can work like a little lever. And then finally, if you try this on the first side, bend the right knee, reach back for the foot, and then pull heel away from hip. Knee drops open on the side, and then the chest opens. Let that go. Forearms back to the floor with elbows under shoulders. Tuck your back toes. Float your back knee up off the ground. This is actually a nice deep stretch here for the back leg, and also you should feel this in your left hip. And then, as easily as you can, and maybe you can do this in just one nice step. Root down through the forearms, step the left foot back, forearm plank. Reach through the heels, pull the navel in, ground down through the forearms, and the head reaches forward, so don't drop your head off your neck. And then we're going to do a few more dolphin push-ups here. So lift the hips and maybe walk the toes in a little bit. Coming to dolphin on an exhale. Inhale, forearm plank. Exhale, dolphin. Activate this from the core. Inhale, forearm plank. Exhale, dolphin. Inhale, forearm plank. Exhale. Inhale. One more time. Exhale. Inhale, and then this last exhale, we're back in dolphin, and then see if you can. Plant the hands. Come straight to downward facing dog and breathe. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or lightly hop the feet forward between the hands. One more time, let's come to a seat. And we're really just coming to the ground to do a few finishing poses here because we do want to wrap this up as a practice. Let's take the right leg out, step the left foot over for a nice twist. So we're going to twist to the left, use the right arm to help you turn over. Keep the right foot a little flexed here. And after doing some core work, twists might also feel nice. Breathe. And then coming back to center, simple Janu Shirshasana, sole of the left foot to the right thigh. Angle yourself over your right leg and then begin to take a fold. The right toes are still flexed back towards you, breathing. Allowing yourself to just let go a little bit here. And then walk the hands in, come on up. Let's go to the other leg. So take your left leg out, step the right foot over, and then turning over your right shoulder. You can use your left arm against the knee, around the knee or on the outside of the knee. Turn to the right. And then coming back to center, sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh, flex your left foot, angle your torso, and fold Janu Shirshasana. Really aware of your breath here, so you can stay with that ujjayi. And then come on up easily, and let's just cross the legs. So I always encourage you to take your own Shavasana if you have a few minutes after this practice here. Just lay out on the floor, come to corpse pose, give yourself some time to completely let go. But let's bring palms together in front of the heart for now. Close the eyes. Tune into your breath. And we'll take a simple bow forward to complete the practice. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you wherever you are. Thank you for joining me from home and sharing in a practice. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Feel free to share this with anyone else you think might like it, and don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Yay!